It is April 23rd, 2021. Peace and humptiness forever. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Alfred Konuwa and Jax Callans making his Wrestling Inc. debut.
Yeah.
Here to talk about SmackDown Live, SmackDown on Fox. The build to WrestleMania Backlash began tonight in full effect. Daniel Bryan in an interesting angle, playing off of the news circulating that his contract is up soon. Who knows what's going to happen? They're leaning into that hard. We saw Aleister Black back tonight in a new promo. We had some more action on the women's tag team front. We have Bayley versus Bianca Belair, official for WrestleMania Backlash. Jackson, welcome to the show. What did you think tonight of SmackDown on Fox?
I thought it was a good show. I mean, SmackDown's always, to me, the A show right now. I liked it. I'm curious to see what's going to happen, like you said, with Daniel Bryan, especially with the stipulation and the things that he's been saying, tweeting, and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, what happens?
It seems like he's going to win. I bet you he's going to win, and that's going to set up Cesaro versus... Did they announce Cesaro versus Roman for Backlash? No,
it's going to be Daniel Bryan versus Roman.
Oh, really? Wait, really?
For Backlash. That's what I understood. Yeah,
no, it probably is going to be that.
Actually.
Yeah, that makes sense. I maybe I'm just wishing it into existence, Alfred. I think last Friday I talked about this. Like, I want Cesaro versus Roman in the main event. Obviously, Roman's going to win, but still, I would like to see that happen. I think it would be good.
Yeah, that's what I thought we were going to see up until the last 10 minutes of the show.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting, but live from the Thunderdome tonight. And we've got Seth Rollins. Oh, Seth Rollins.
Oh, it's next week on SmackDown. Okay.
Yeah, it's next week.
Yeah,
that's why I was thinking Cesaro.
Okay, yeah. So it would be
But I mean, this was so telegraphed tonight. I thought it was going to be the main event. I'm surprised they opened with it, with Rollins and Jey Uso versus Cesaro and Daniel Bryan. Jackson, what do you think of Seth Rollins' character? I feel like he's coming off like a bootleg Cameron Grimes at this point. Like,
I don't even think he knows what he's doing with his character, to be honest. I don't know. I kind of want to see it where it goes a little bit more. I was kind of teased when they brought out with the Jey Uso to see if he was going to be back in, like, the Roman Reigns in cahoots type of thing. We didn't get that. He walked out of the match, obviously, cowardly, but
this tag I just felt was such an obvious choice for tonight. And what was it, like 45 minutes?
It was long.
Yeah, well, you were driving. Long. You did an entire commute, Jackson, during this match.
I set up all my stuff.
Very long
at the beginning of the show. Undid all my stuff because the house, my grandma's house, was not working. Packed it up, drove home, set up, and the match was still going on.
Wow, very long match. But that being said, Alfred, what do you think of this promo and them leaning so heavily on this tonight? I feel like, while this is a hot storyline, I don't know. This feels like they just keep stretching this out. Everything with Roman, every feud Roman's in seems to just take 3 weeks to get to where another feud would get in 1 week's time.
Yeah, because you rarely get any wrestling, and I think it does protect his star power. Is you rarely get any wrestling from Roman Reigns. That's why I think next week, knowing that they're going to have a match for the title and Roman Reigns is actually going to wrestle on TV, I think that's going to make a difference in the rating because they kind of protect him by not having him wrestle a lot. But the other side of that, a consequence, if you will, is that there's a lot of talking, and Roman Reigns has kind of a slow, brooding style, so he's never going to be the one to cut these fiery rah-rah promos in the vein of like a Hulk Hogan or something like that. He's more cool, calm, and collected, and you're going to get a lot of that, and so it does make things seem like they're going a lot slower.
What'd you think of the match, Jackson?
I enjoyed it.
It's good. I mean,
it was good.
Does it feel to anyone else like we have an abundance of great wrestling right now? And it kind of like, I want to say it detracts a little bit. It's like you could have your favorite restaurant, but if you eat there 5 nights a week, is it still special anymore if you have like your favorite dish? You know what I mean? I think even going to Nobu and getting the 10-course chef sampler would seem a little bit old if you did it too often. And I feel like these guys have these banger matches, but the storyline, I feel like we're moving through quicksand. It's just not going fast enough.
Yeah, it's actually the complete opposite of the Attitude Era. If you look at it, it's just a shame that we couldn't have a boom period during a time where there's all these elite athletes doing this great stuff for a mainstream audience. Because in the Attitude Era, if you go back and watch those Raws and SmackDown and stuff, there was a lot of terrible wrestling on those shows with, you know, people who you could argue shouldn't have even been in the ring at that point. But the storylines were excellent in terms of what you hooked on the show, especially their top storylines. So it's kind of an inverse now. Is I've never seen better wrestling on a day-to-day basis, week in and week out. I mean, this SmackDown wrestling is better than most pay-per-views in the 90s in WWE, except unfortunately a lot of the storytelling that they're doing is not inspiring.
A lot lacking to it.
I mean, Jackson, do you still pop for Cesaro doing the swing? I mean, I feel like
no. I mean, I do to an extent, but then it's like, okay, it's getting stale.
Yeah.
They've really beat that thing into the ground the way they booked the Seth Rollins feud around the swing. It kind of made the swing jump the shark in some ways.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, man, because, I mean, all of these guys are so talented. I think there's a lot there. I just feel like the storyline's not popping. And with Seth, I feel like he's out there going through the motions. He's doing the laugh. He's doing the body language. But even he knows he has nothing to say.
Yeah.
You know? That cameo he cut that went viral, where he was thanking the guy, like that was more entertaining, Seth off the cuff, than what we've seen them script for him in a long time. But and also interesting, Jackson, what do you think about having the Seth and Roman kind of out there in each other's orbit, but not interacting? This idea that they're having a little bit of overlap, but no Shield reunion, you know?
I like it, but there's that fan in me that just wants to see something happen in a different way than the Shield was, but, you know, an interaction of brotherhoods coming to it, you know, something with it. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, that was kind of, I was very excited for that prospect. When I heard Roman Reigns' music hit and I knew Seth Rollins was out there, it's like, okay, here we go. They're going to, at the very least, the WWE loves its Shield references, but this would have been a welcomed sight because they haven't really crossed paths since Roman Reigns came back. But I guess we didn't get that.
I haven't been this frustrated. Remember when David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar toured together and they played separate sets and never once, not even an encore. They didn't come out together and do a song. That's all we wanted to see.
Another version of that is the last season of Martin, when Martin and Gina were having problems in real life and they couldn't be on camera together. That was very hard to watch.
Well, I think Tisha Campbell probably had a valid point for.
I'm not taking any sides, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know how that ever resolved, but you know, that was my recollection at the time. But no, I agree. I mean, I think that you can only have these guys near each other so long before people want something, right? It's like the wrestling version of shipping. It's like, oh, there's going to be an alliance. There's going to be something. It's going to be a meaningful glance.
Yeah.
You know, something, anything.
A huge missed opportunity. No, I agree. They could have done something like that. It's kind of like we were talking about the Raquel Gonzalez, Dakota Kai thing, where they're clearly going in that direction now. All they had to do was a little glance of Dakota Kai getting jealous of Raquel, and we'd have been off to the races. Maybe they'll have that. This is the same kind of vein where even if they're not planning anything immediately, have them at the very least look at it. Like, come on, you can't ignore that history.
Yeah. It's tough, man. But the match itself was good. Cesaro and Daniel Bryan get the win. We set them up taunting Roman Reigns. Of course, we'd see him in the main event. And what they're building up there. This was unexpected, but delightful tonight. Nia Jax versus Tamina Snuka, with Tamina getting that win. I mean, what do you think about this, Jackson? Tamina's been a pillar of the women's division for the better part of a decade. Never really gotten a lot of opportunities. She had that short championship chase against Bayley last year. What do you think about this push that they're giving her right now?
Let her run with it if it works out. I mean, why not?
Yeah. I mean, Alfred, could you see Tamina and Natalya winning the tag titles? I thought at Mania they were going to get it. But
I know, and I really think that they should get it any day now, just based on how they've booked Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, who, I mean, this does have potential as a fun tag team mid-card comedy, but if they're the champions, they really should be winning a lot of these matches, and they're not. And meanwhile, Natalya and Tamina have been kind of built up, and it was very interesting to see WWE really talk up Tamina's reaction at WrestleMania, because I remember she did get a pretty good reaction for whatever reason. I even tweeted about like how surprised I was that I mean, she was really the most over person of that first hour. And WWE seems to have taken notice, and they're kind of running with that idea that look at all these people cheering for Tamina. So I see them trending toward getting those tag team titles.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. Jackson, are you excited at the prospect of Shayna and Nia breaking up and having a feud against each other.
Something new would be fresh. I mean, it could be good.
Yeah. I mean, they've both been booked as so dominant. I think them fighting one another.
They've teased it before, too. I mean,
yeah. And it doesn't need a title. Maybe custody of Reginald. Maybe that could be what they're.
I'll be careful telling that story, but
touche.
I mean, wasn't there a love angle thing going on for a minute there with Nia and what's his name, Reginald?
Yeah, they're still trying to kind of play that up in terms of Nia and Reginald. And Shayna is just kind of positioned as the person who is just over it and doesn't want anything to do with their love angle and just wants to compete, which there's a story to be told. There's a lot of potential with this comedy-wise, and you've seen some flashes. It's just that the way that they're booked as champions, I think, has been awful.
I agree.
Yeah, I kind of like their interactions with him. I mean, it's kind of a silly storyline. It's interesting that he went from being Carmella's valet or sommelier, as it were, and then having that be involved with Sasha, and then being like, okay, we're going to spin him off into his own thing right now.
Yeah,
I don't know, just kind of interesting, his shelf life. Like he's one of the top stars of the women's division.
He really is. It's just great. He gets booked better than most of those women that are on the roster, especially in consistency wise, where he's just kind of aligning himself with all these winners.
Yeah.
Can he wrestle? I don't really know much about him. Can he wrestle? Did he do anything wrestling wise?
Necessarily, I don't know how much experience he has wrestling, but he has a lot of gymnastic experience, and he does a lot of active matches, and it's actually really fun to watch. I mean, he had that match with Sasha Banks where he's flipping all over the place, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think there's potential there. I think it could be interesting to see where they go with this. But Tamina winning tonight, I think, was a good move. I think Tamina and Natalya getting that win would be good. I feel like they both just deserve it, right? It's like just a respect thing, given all the work they've put in the women's division through thick and through thin, through good times and bad. I think that they could be very, very good tag team champions and bring something new to the women's tag division. Shayna and Nia, I think both could have a monster feud against each other, and it could go really, really well. So we'll see. But yeah, and the original thing does kind of detract from that, in a way. Yeah. So, because I think that to have two women that are booked and treated as such badasses, it's kind of strange to have this, not quite comedy character, but a more lighthearted, whimsical character in the mix.
Yeah, it's the complete opposite of what Shayna Baszler brings to the table. It's like Shayna Baszler is one of the most legit people in that company in terms of somebody who's a MMA fighter and has experience shoot fighting, and she's always at her best when she's dominant. Like in NXT, she almost never lost a match until she was ready to leave. And now you see her in this position where it's like they protect her because they give her that title and she wins sometimes, but she loses a lot, and she's in this comedy feud where she's just kind of the goon in the whole feud. So it's just very weird to watch Shayna in this position.
Yeah. Carrano Shot 234 saying cheers, boys. Also, Mortal Kombat was awesome.
Oh, I'd love to hear it. Can't wait to watch that.
I can't wait either. I've been waiting.
I'm afraid because I saw some of the reviews. I was excited about it, and I saw some reviews. Now I'm bummed.
Oh, look at the reviews, man.
Yeah, I try not to look at the reviews before I watch the movie these days. But I'm just a huge Mortal Kombat guy, so I'm sure I'll like it either way. I like the other Mortal Kombat movie they did that everybody hated.
Well, the first one, the second one.
So.
Yeah,
it came out in like the 90s or whatever. It had that Mortal Kombat soundtrack. That's what everybody remembers about it.
Well, there were two. There was Mortal Kombat Annihilation. The first Mortal Kombat movie is dumb fun.
Yeah, I agree.
And probably up until, I don't know, up until Tomb Raider, it was probably the best video game adaptation at that time. Certainly Street Fighter, the movie, was not.
Yeah, no, it was not. And they made the movie The Game, too, and the game was terrible.
Oh,
Jean-Claude Van Damme or
whatever. Yeah. I went to the Capcom Friends and Family premiere that they invited press to of Street Fighter, the movie. And I'm there in a crowded theater surrounded by Capcom employees. And everyone was so amped when the movie started and so disappointed by the time the movie ended. Oh, and it's funny that, in time it has gone on to become a cult classic. And Raul Julia's performance has been praised by people. Now, that was his last film role. But Jean-Claude Van Damme and Kylie Minogue, not the Street Fighter we were hoping for.
Not the best chemistry. No, not at all. Yeah. Kylie played
by the way,
right?
Yeah.
I promised I would give Carrano a shout out. He's a good friend of the podcast.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
What up, man?
Absolutely. Yeah, we were talking about vegan food. Man. And I love Kylie Minogue. And I love the character of Cammy. But man, that movie.
Yeah. There was some potential there. And it got a lot of hype. But yeah, it was not a good movie. Especially as great as Street Fighter was as a game. Didn't do it justice.
Well, and isn't it weird how collectively, as a society, as the world, we were all on the Van Damme train until about, 93? And then it was just like, no, we're good.
Yeah.
You know?
Around the time he did that movie with Dennis Rodman, what was that, Double Team?
Oh, I think that was after. I was going to say, now Time Cop, my beloved Time Cop. Time Cop is one of my favorite movies of all time. Didn't that come out just a few months before Street Fighter, the movie?
I'm pretty sure. It sounds like the same timeline, but I couldn't tell you.
Street Fighter came out December 23rd, Time Cop September. Somewhere between September of 94 and December of 94, the world turned on Jean-Claude Van Damme.
How do you know this stuff off the top of your head, man?
I know.
Just thinking back to my teen years, man. I turned 18 in 94. It was a big year, you know? And Time Cop is fantastic. Fans of the podcast, if you've never seen the movie Time Cop, it involves... First off, I love a good time travel movie. I think Time Cop is probably easily in my top 10, if not top 5, time travel movies of all time.
Wow. That's a very specific category. What's another time travel movie that, I guess there are plenty of them. Like
Back to the Future.
Guy? What's
that?
Inception?
Inception. Well, no, that's about dreams.
Yeah, I guess it's more dreams.
Yeah. But no, I think time travel, look, I'll watch any time travel movie. I was tweeting about this a while ago, Project Almanac, Welcome to Yesterday. Project Almanac was found footage, not even great, but it was still a pretty solid time travel movie. I will watch anything that involves time travel or a time loop. You just have to tell me that. You have to say, Glenn, it's a time loop movie. Like Triangle, or just time goes, or 12:01 p.m., or Groundhog Day. I mean, I'll watch that anytime. Time travel, Back to the Futures 1, 2, and 3, obviously some of the very best that we've ever seen, but I love a good time travel movie.
How do you rank Hot Tub Time Machine?
Hot Tub Time Machine was fun.
I like the first one a lot. The second one was disappointing to me, but the first one was really good.
Good job, Carrano. Threw us on a train of movies for.
Stellar Justin Lopez, $4.99, saying Jean-Claude Van Damme was actually supposed to be the Predator, but he hated the suit and quit the project. They shot, much like they shot Back to the Future with Eric Stoltz, they shot Predator with Jean-Claude Van Damme in this terrible Predator suit that looked nothing like what was in the finished movie. And then they decided after, we got to do something. We got to change some things because this isn't good. But the Predator is what made, the first Predator film, Schwarzenegger, Ventura, whatever. But the Predator was badass when you first saw him.
Yeah.
Although now my thing is, if you're playing Fortnite and someone has the Predator skin, I've dubbed that the ultimate try-hard skin for Fortnite players. It's you think you're cool, but you're not cool.
Clout chasing.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Bad Keith Gaming, $5, saying SmackDown's literally the A show for WWE. Amazing comeback from last week.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree it's the A show. I look forward to SmackDown far more than I do Raw. Raw is just a chore to watch.
I don't even remember last week's SmackDown.
I remember some things from it, but yeah, they just kind of blend together sometimes. But I really do like the 2-hour format, and I think when I'm watching the show, it's a more enjoyable show.
Jackson, you texted me after the podcast last Friday saying, dude, you look so tired. And I was just
You had a 10-hour drive, man. And then you jumped back on the podcast after that, dude. I just did that drive to you.
Yeah.
Back and forth, a 10-hour drive. And I was like, oh my God, I just want to go to bed.
I got home maybe 3 a.m. Thursday morning. I don't remember much of the last week. It's been a blur.
Wow.
Good promos for Kevin Owens versus Apollo Crews tonight. We'll talk about that match, but hey, I want to welcome a brand new sponsor to the Wrestling Inc. podcast, and that is Ipvanish. What is Ipvanish? Ipvanish is a virtual private network, a VPN for short. A VPN is a super important tool that helps you safely browse the internet. You can use VPNs on your computer, your tablet, your phone, even things like your Fire Stick. When you're streaming media, when you use a VPN, all your data is encrypted. What you're reading, what you're searching, what you're watching, whatever it is you're doing is private. And that's important because what you do on the internet is no one else's business but yours. Like me, I want to watch on ctv.ca. They've got the 80s series It's Your Move. Maybe I want to privately watch that from my home. And, I'm not in Canada, but I use Ipvanish. Bam, it's like I'm in Canada and I'm watching Jason Bateman trying to outsmart his neighbor in 1985. And we've got a deal for listeners of our podcast, Ipvanish is offering an incredible 65% off. That's just $3.49 for the first month or $31.49 for the year. And here's everything you get with Ipvanish. You get anonymous IP addresses, which means your personal IP address cannot be tracked by anyone on the web. You could circumvent online censorship. Oh, you don't want to stop me from watching Canadian TV? Joke's on you. I got Ipvanish. They got more than 1,500 servers in 70 locations. How do you think I'm watching the Menudo miniseries that hasn't even aired in the US on Amazon Prime? Ipvanish, baby. Get protection when you're using public Wi-Fi. Remember, the Ipvanish will make all your data encrypted so no one can snoop on what you're doing. If you see Mr. Robot, why do you want to go use the Wi-Fi at a coffee shop or someplace somebody set up a sniffer on there? They're collecting all your details. Ipvanish protects you, and you get 24/7 support. You can email them, chat with them, even call them, and they are here to help. So here's what we want you to do. Go to ipvanish.com/INC for Wrestling Inc. That's ipvanish.com/INC to claim your 65% savings. And they have plans starting at just $349 or $31.49 for an entire year. And this is the time to sign up. And with our discount and their current promotional offerings, you can get that VPN for 65% off their usual offer. Ipvanish is the best of the best. It's rated 4.7 out of 5 on Trustpilot, and that's with more than 6,000 reviews. So show these guys some love. They're sponsors of Wrestling Inc. We're glad to have them on. We want to have a long relationship. I'm going to tell you about all the TV and stuff you can watch overseas using Ipvanish. Just think about it. Think about the dumbest Google searches you ever do and how somewhere on their servers that's linked to your name. Last night, I'm trying to decipher some of the lyrics to the Humpty Dance that I just never quite picked up. I don't need Google and people knowing that I'm looking for that. Not that I'm ashamed of it. I'm telling you here on the podcast, but I'm just saying, you're Googling stuff. Ipvanish has got you on lock, going to protect you. So ipvanish.com/INC. Get this deal. Start protecting yourself online. We thank them for sponsoring the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Jackson, what's the dumbest thing you've Googled in recent memory?
The lyrics to Everywhere from Michelle Branch.
There you go. There you go. And with Ipvanish, Jackson, who looked that up? Who knows? Just blending in with all that private traffic. Alfred, what about you?
By the way.
Oh my God. That one just really hit. I feel like we lost two of the greatest rappers of all time with Shotzi's passing.
Yeah.
You know, now I'll have you be known, first couple of years, I really thought Humpty Hump and Shock G were two different people.
Me too.
They kept that kayfabe. They kept that kayfabe so well. You know? Oh man. So back to the show tonight. Let's talk about this match. Kevin Owens versus Apollo Crews. Good for Apollo getting a successful title defense. I think they're building this up with him and Big E. What did you think of this tonight, Jackson, this match?
Actually missed that one.
Oh, it wasn't very long. And Sammy on commentary, man, you can't put a guy like Sammy on commentary and expect me to pay attention to the wrestling as much, right? Sammy's like a show in and of himself.
I love Sammy.
Just so good.
Me too. He's just a one-man entertainment machine. He's so good. He's not a bad dancer, to be honest. He's like not terrible, but he's bad enough at dancing that it's funny. And he knows how to make it funny. He's so funny and obnoxious to watch dancing like that I think they're onto something. And unfortunately, they're probably going to beat this into the ground. But right now, it's so entertaining. And I think he's so funny on commentary that he was just calling out the referee for she either counted too fast or too slow. And he just knows how to really get up under you and be obnoxious in an entertaining way. And I thought he was great tonight.
Did you see all the gifs that people were making with his dancing from the Logan Paul segment and his interactions on Twitter with? It was hilarious.
He's got a T-shirt too. I'm thinking about getting that T-shirt, a Dancing Man T-shirt. That the proceeds are donated to Sammy for Syria, but it's just pictures of him.
Oh, nice!
And drawn pictures of him dancing, and they're really good.
I love that he's doing that. I bought a few of the Sammy for Syria T-shirt releases.
Oh, nice.
I mean, they're just all great. And it's such a great cause with what he's doing there. Isn't it weird that he's like the ultimate baby face in real life, but they have him playing this heel character?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was you who said it's like watching conservative Saturday Night Live or something like that.
Yeah,
but it's a little weird, the inverse in types of what they find to be a heel, you know, because he is kind of playing like somebody who would be a protester. So now everything has to be a conspiracy. It's just kind of an inverse world. But you know, in wrestling, fans tend to kind of decide who they want to cheer for, especially this day and age. I think people kind of appreciate Sammy even though he's a heel.
So good. But yeah, he kind of upstages this match tonight with Kevin and Apollo. But hey, good on Apollo getting this win tonight. I think building him up for solid rematch with Big E rematching for the title. I think is going to be great. And we saw this backstage when Cruz was celebrating and Big E attacked him. Do you think this is a heel turn for Big E, Alfred?
No, I don't. I think they're just, it kind of seemed like it might be earlier in the night when he was talking to Kevin Owens about cutting him in line. But this is just Big E going after Apollo Crews after Cruz, who's clearly a heel, cheated to win tonight. He cheated to win at WrestleMania. So, they're just kind of keeping that going with Big E. But I think Apollo Crews is just such night and day in terms of him on the mic. I don't think I've ever seen an improvement to that level where he went from being a guy who I thought couldn't cut a promo to save his life to now he's so comfortable. And I think it's just because he's playing a character and he's just comfortable outside of his own skin, similar to Big E. How Big E is so comfortable on camera, but in real life, he's just kind of more laid back. I love this Apollo Crews fire. The character's a little questionable in terms of them making him a cartoon, but he seems to be very comfortable playing this role.
Yeah, it's good. Finabs 299 saying hi to Jackson. Good work, but where's Diva? Diva just was not feeling well tonight, so she couldn't make it. That's why Alfred's filling in tonight, and we had Jackson scheduled, and then Alfred is going to be on Fridays with us starting in May every week with myself and Issa. So it's going to be good, man. I mean, SmackDown's such an easier watch. I've enjoyed that. And Tuesdays, if you haven't checked out Tuesdays yet, our NXT Tuesdays have been so much fun so far.
We're having fun on Tuesdays.
Yeah, you big NXT fan, Jackson?
No, I actually don't know too much about NXT, but I've watched a couple recently, and I'm getting intrigued. I'm going to start watching it every week now.
Yeah, you got to watch it. I highly recommend it. It's probably the best show that they air consistently on a weekly basis.
I watch the takeovers and whatnot, but I don't really know what's going on story-wise or anything except for the Adam Cole thing. But yeah, I love NXT's vibe, so I want to get into it.
Oh, yeah.
So good. I mean, I just feel like it's such a easier watch. Even than tonight, I think NXT is better than SmackDown week in and week out. SmackDown's good, but NXT, I mean, you know what it is, man? I was thinking about this. It's like tonight, even though this was a good show, these are variations of things we see week in and week out. NXT could be something entirely new every week.
It's different too than the main, than SmackDown or Raw. It has its own flavor, its own vibe. It's Triple H's hands on it type of deal,
Yeah.
More aggressive.
Absolutely. Yeah. And this week was a really, really good show. Let's talk about this return vignette for Aleister Black. Jax Callans, Aleister Black, almost seemed angry. Almost like a satanic Tom Vu tonight, taunting the audience.
Glasses.
Yeah. Tom Vu had some pretty cool glasses back in the day, if I recall. What's Tom Vu up to?
That's something you should Google.
He didn't become like a professional poker player. I used to love those infomercials in the 90s. Like maybe he was right. I was afraid to be rich. Tom Vu had me, man. What? Tom Vu lives in Vegas now. Oh my God. I know what my mission is going to be. Moving to Vegas. I'm going to track down Tom Vu, get a photo. But no, Aleister Black, very confrontational to the audience tonight. Still dark, still satanic. But just angry, not so much looking for a fight, just there to prove his dominance. Do you think this is an improvement? I mean, I guess, Jackson, my question for you is this different enough than what they did before?
Yeah, I'm really interested to see his entrance, what they're going to do with that. That'll kind of tell his character, because I loved what he had before. He was laying down, they bring him up type of deal. We really don't know much yet to know what's going to happen when he makes his return. I'm excited though. I want to see it.
I mean, I thought when the cuts happened, what was it, last week or the week before? I mean, he seemed like he would be in jeopardy given his lack of use. So, I mean, shows that they're doing something with him, that they're invested. But
it's a good repackage, and we'll see.
Yeah, Alfred, what do you think though? Do you think this is the right direction, or is this too similar?
Yeah, no, this is a bit of a wait and see for me in terms of Aleister Black. I think he's doing this effectively in terms of his performance. I love the production of this. I love the little cartoon they did with the dragons. The thing for me is he doesn't have enough of a reason to hate the fans and to hate the people. It's fine if you're going to be a villain, you're going to have a reason to not like people, but he didn't really give a reason as to why he has such disdain. And he just said these people are going to raise these kids with their bad values. And I just need a little more meat behind why you're suddenly going after the people. What is it that they did? He could have some story from his childhood of something that happened, but I just need more of a reason. Otherwise, this is like a bad guy being a bad guy for the sake of it.
I don't know. Remember
his Cheerios?
Yeah, I remember Lars Sullivan sharing his stories from his childhood. I don't know that that's the best move to take.
We can stay away from that. With this writing staff, yeah, we can stay away from that.
Yeah, WWE writing staff, not the ones I want to try and have the nuance of childhood trauma to channel that into a character. Oh man, so I want something good for Aleister Black to come out of this, but yeah. I don't know what's going to happen with this. This is tough, man, to go from this to Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, whose tag team championship reign has been unmarked by anything of note.
Yeah, they're just there. I always forget that they're tag team champions, to be honest.
Yes, and that's why to see the Street Profits there, who so clearly are the biggest stars in the entire tag team division, is just very frustrating. We have Bayley talking smack about Bianca Belair. They call Bianca on speakerphone. What's going to happen? Tune in. Stay tuned to find out. Stellar Justin Lopez, $4.99, saying, thank God he got rid of the eye patch. Him talking about slaying a dragon made me think he was targeting Daniel Bryan, but that won't happen after the last segment.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually good foreshadowing, but, he's not the dragon in this world, so... Yeah. But you know what I thought they were doing is they had this shot of him with his glasses on, and for a second it looked like one of the glasses was going to be dark and the other one was going to be light. And I was just thinking, if that's the look he's going to look like an idiot. I thought it would look ridiculous, but he looked fine with the glasses that he had, so thank God they didn't do that.
Glasses are an interesting choice.
Yeah, he does look. He looks a lot less dangerous with those glasses on. I will say that.
It is true. You think, and I don't want to stereotype that glasses make somebody look like a nerd. I wear glasses on occasion. I have, contact lenses in now, but that seems like a Vince thing. If someone believed glasses made you look like a nerd, it is Vince McMahon. Yeah. I would bet a considerable amount of money that Vince thinks that. So that's why it's interesting. Vince would have signed off on this. Yeah,
no, absolutely. And, Vince has a lot of classic beliefs about what a tough guy is.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you that mold isn't somebody with glasses on. He probably laughs at those people.
There has never been an intimidating metalhead with glasses. And I'm going back to Wheels on Degrassi. You cannot wear glasses and look like you can kick anyone's ass if you're a metalhead.
No, yeah. That's why Clark Kent wore the glasses. You're supposed to be, docile. And this is his calm version before he took them off and flew around in the air.
Yeah. I just don't get it, man. So Bianca and Bayley facing off. And what'd you think of this, Jackson? Bayley, putting Bianca over and then basically coming out after and saying, psych.
Her character is just weird to me right now, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with Bayley. I'm not a fan, really, of this comedy, whatever she's doing.
Yeah, I don't know. See, I thought it worked over the last year. I thought it was good, but I think that they're not giving her good material lately. Is my question.
Yeah. No, she's a very talented performer, and I don't like that they've taken the emphasis off her wrestling. She's been more of a kind of off-screen character, out of the ring character, more than a wrestler. But clearly, she's going to get back to that. But I did enjoy the segment very much with Montez Ford coming around with his phone.
Yeah,
and then she goes, "I'll be right back. I'll be right there," and you're just like, "Oh, you messed up now." So I like that. Seemed like a very organic way to get Bianca Belair in the building to confront Bayley. I really like that.
That was good. Chris Pantaleo, $1.99, saying glasses worked for Adam Bomb or maybe not.
Adam Bomb was actually one of my favorite wrestlers as a kid. I loved Adam Bomb. When I was a kid, I know it didn't work out, but I absolutely loved that character when it was on television. I'm very disappointed that it didn't take off the way I thought it would.
Jackson,
he worked for IRS back in the day, and he kicked ass.
There you go. Bret Hart, greatest glasses of all time.
Difference between sunglasses and
glasses. We're not doing all glasses, because Adam Bomb had those dark glasses on.
Yeah, that's the difference. Sunglasses are cool, which is actually weird that I say that. That's such a kid thing. I'm going to wear sunglasses. They're cool, man. Yeah. But no, sunglasses are cool. Clear glasses, you're a nerd.
I guess there were some goggles too on Adam Bomb. But clear glasses do get a bad rap in terms of being associated with nerds. But hey, there needs to be a great wrestler who just wrestles in his eyeglasses. I think he'd get over.
Oh, the Dudley Boys is Beats is pointing out. Dudley Boys had the greatest glasses.
That's a good one.
Yeah. This is interesting. This is a polarizing subject.
I don't know if this could be its own podcast.
Delving into the real issues tonight. we're solving some things here on the Wrestling Inc. podcast, but it was announced today on social media that at WrestleMania Backlash, Bianca Belair will be defending her title against Bayley. So we'll see what happens with that. Should be interesting. But hey, I want to thank the second sponsor of tonight's episode, which is HelloFresh. Oh, with HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-measured ingredients and mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. You can skip those trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And that's why HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. I love HelloFresh because it cuts the stress out of meal planning and grocery store trips, so you can enjoy cooking and get dinner on the table in about 30 minutes or less. And in fact, they've got new meals you could try that are ready in 20 minutes or less with lightning prep recipes, quick breakfasts, and lunches, perfect for your busy schedule, which is so important. A lot of times you think of cooking as a pain, as a chore, as something that you have to do. HelloFresh makes it fun, makes it simple, and it's great that they do the meal planning for you, so you don't have to worry about, oh, what do I have the ingredients for? What can I make? They send you a variety of meals each week, over 25 recipes to choose from, in fact, from vegetarian meals to craft burgers to extra special gourmet options. There's something for everyone to enjoy, with all the recipes designed and tested by professional chefs and nutritional experts to ensure deliciousness and simplicity. I love HelloFresh because I stress so much about meal plans. I have to worry about sticking to it. And, am I going to get enough of this? And then I've got to use half the onion for this, the other half for that. HelloFresh will send you all the ingredients pre-portioned, ready to go. And it's so easy, so effective. And it's a great value. It's 28% cheaper than shopping in your local grocery store, 72% cheaper than a restaurant meal, and you're not having to sacrifice the quality. It's really that good. So here's what we want you to do. Go to HelloFresh.com. That's HelloFresh.com/INC12. INC12, and use that code INC12 for 12 free meals, including free shipping. Again, that's HelloFresh.com/INC12. Use that code INC12 for 12 free meals, get free shipping. And HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. We thank them for sponsoring the Wrestling Inc. podcast. They've been with us for a long time. HelloFresh.com/INC12. Use that code INC12 for 12 free meals, including free shipping. Try it today, and we thank them for sponsoring us. Back to SmackDown. Man Cave Sessions, $5 says, when I think glasses, I think MJF would snap them in half if someone came out to the ring with that.
I get heat. We also have a couple of entries in terms of greatest glasses. Edge and Christian, that's good. Orange Cassidy, who I guess wrestles in Aviator sometimes. Mr. Hughes is a good one. And nobody said Macho Man Randy Savage, which I know he doesn't wrestle in them, but those were some badass glasses.
Still sunglasses type.
Yeah, sunglasses.
Sunglasses. Yes, yeah, but they're just going with the glasses in whole.
In general, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, the eyeglasses is really more the niche thing that I think we need to see more of.
In 1989, I got my first pair of glasses, and they were like, "Oh, get these clear frames, like these George Costanza frames, like all these things." But no, I was Major League had just come out, and I got the thick black Charlie Sheen is Wild Thing glasses that I insisted upon getting, and I wore them all of twice until I was like, you know what? I'm just going to squint. It's not that big of a deal.
Did you put the white tape around the middle?
I should have. And then I got contact lenses 5 years later. I don't have the right face for like thick black, like horn rimmed glasses. Like I actually, my problem is that I don't think I have the right face shape for most glasses. Even with sunglasses, I have to get like the big one, the wrap around one. Yeah,
I was gonna say I think my face is too round, so I get aviators or bigger glasses that
I found
glasses, but I refuse to wear them. So
I found this site that had wholesale sunglasses, and I ordered like 3 cases of them. Now they were like $3 a pair. Over the last 5 years, many of them are broke. I'm down to like only 4 pairs, and you can't get this model anymore.
Oh my God.
From this like wholesale sunglass site. I'm so bummed. So what I do is every time I go to a tourist destination, like Hollywood Boulevard, or one of those places that has the gift shop with the cheap souvenirs, in there you can get like 5 pairs of sunglasses for $10. And thankfully they have like the cheap from China, questionable quality glasses, but that's where I stock up because at least I can try them on. But yes,
maybe we can get like an Oakley sponsorship out of this.
We should.
You don't have to worry about buying sunglasses again.
Hey, ZZ Top had it right, man. Cheap sunglasses though, because I've owned the $90 Oakleys before. And remember, they come in the bag and you could polish them with the bag. Yeah. But then when those break, man, like that's a bummer. You lose them or leave them somewhere. But $3 a pair, like whatever. Yeah. Zook Enigma 499 asking, do you guys feel like you would enjoy Raw more if it was 2 hours, or is it that overall show you guys hate? I feel like they're doing the best they can.
Both.
Yeah, I agree that it's a little bit of both, but it's more so the 3 hours. I think it would be better at 2 hours because it would make them more disciplined in how they can kind of roll out these stories. You got to be quicker, you got to be tighter. More things have to matter over the course of 2 hours. So I think it would definitely be better if it was 2 hours long.
I feel Raw feels like they're just lazy, and it's 3 hours of being lazy.
Mm-hmm.
All their focus is going to, SmackDown, if you will, in my opinion, to be the A show. So it's kind of like, that's how I feel. They're switching A shows to me, and we don't need 3 hours of what we've been having for how long now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Packed that third hour with more action. It's just an excuse to make more money because you're going to get a lot more money if you have a 3 hour show than a 2 hour show. And then it just stretches the show out with more clips of what you've already seen and bad storytelling and stuff like that.
I'll tell you though, I saw the promo tonight about T-Bar and Mace being unmasked on Monday Night Raw this past week. And I was intrigued for about a split second. And then I said, hell no, I'm not watching Raw again.
Oh, really?
Like, I don't care. I don't care.
Glenn, did you watch that segment?
No, I did not. I have not watched Raw.
They got beat with their masks. It was pretty cool.
Literally beat with their masks.
Oh, yeah, they
look like clowns. It was not good.
Oh, man. It's tough, man. I don't know. I don't know if I can get into that. But I'll tell you tonight, though, this giving it a run for its money, this felt like a Raw match. This feels like a Raw feud. Alpha Academy versus the Mysterios. Why? Ray and Dominic got the win. Cool. I believe Chad Gable had a Ready, Willing, and Gable towel from the American Alpha days. I don't think I ever bought one of those. I wanted one of those from WWE Shop, but I never bought one. Still got to get one.
Yeah, that'd be a fun workout towel.
Think about wrestling. Here's the thing about wrestling merch is that if you're a non-wrestling fan and you see it, people tend to think like they don't get it. It makes no sense to them. You wear a Bullet Club shirt. People want to come up and talk to you about ammo restrictions. Have you signed a petition of some sort?
Gun laws.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, wrestling shirts really work best around wrestling fans. To everyone else, you probably just look like a big nerd. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you could. I mean, they're good to work out because then you have your earphones on. You don't have to talk to anybody about what you're wearing. So you're in your own world. But yeah, it's tough sometimes to explain some of the wrestling shirts out of context. So I try to avoid wearing them just out in public.
Oh, that new Roman shirt tonight with that drawing. I wouldn't wear that in public. People at second glance might really misread what's going on in that drawing.
I wear Stone Cold shirt is probably the only one that I'd be comfortable walking around public wearing.
You can get away with that. Stone Cold, I think, is fine. Well, and that's the thing, is that you can wear a classic wrestling shirt because people actually watched wrestling then and know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Do you
I
think
have
now
a shirt that I wear and people love it. I get people talking to me about it when I wear it who don't watch wrestling.
If I walked around wearing an Acknowledge Me shirt, people would be like, what cause? Talk to me about, I want to acknowledge you. I want to accept you. Tell me about you so we can have a moment. Like, people do not get current wrestling shirts.
I still see people walking around with NWO shirts all the time.
Yeah. Absolutely. They had, I think Kylie Jenner, one of the Kardashians, was walking around with an NWO bomber jacket.
But most of it, not cool. That being said, I still want a Funkasaurus t-shirt. Next time I see a 2XL one on eBay, I'm going for that. I don't think I've bought a wrestling shirt since, no, I did buy a Sami Zayn shirt, and I own some Becky Lynch shirts. Think about a Social Outcast shirt on clearance once, because, rest in peace to that faction that never really got going. Chris Pantaleo, Buck99, saying WWE anime coming to Crunchyroll. Should we talk about that now? I saw the news story. Alfred, do you have the details on what this is?
Well, yeah, no, I don't have too many details on that, but I did see that that they're going to have some anime series. I'm actually interested to see how this ends up working out. I mean, I like when WWE branches out and does things like this. This is a great opportunity to get a younger audience. I know that's one of their main focuses is for their audience to get younger, and this is one of those things they're doing that now they're going to kind of be in the anime world, hoping to get a younger viewership and younger fans to their product. So I think this is a good idea.
Yeah. Stellar Justin Lopez, $4.99, telling me that he's seen a dude wearing a Bootio shirt casually on the subway in New York. People are laughing at the dude saying his shirt says booty.
That's good. You want to bring joy to people. It's not like he was wearing the shirt so that they could be angry or confused. They seem to enjoy it. So mission accomplished.
There you go. We said Rey Mysterio and Dominic won. I mean, this match was fine for what it was, but
Dominic's getting some more in ring time to, he's looking better every time I see him in the ring. But other than that,
has he still never competed in front of a crowd? Because they weren't on Mania, right?
Oh, that's a good question.
No, I saw him get his butt beat by Brock Lesnar and at Raw here in Phoenix. And
but he's never had but never a full match though.
Yeah, I don't think he's had a match in front of a. That's a good point. I never even thought about that. He hasn't.
Yeah,
I don't believe so. No.
But man, I think you get Rey and Dominic in a good feud with the Street Profits. There's something you could do there. I just think the Street Profits should be champions. I mean, I don't understand it. I don't get why they're not booking the division around them right now.
Yeah, especially the whole thing with them is take back season. That was their big rallying cry leading up to WrestleMania. Not only did they not get on the show, but on the night before, they lost their chance to take back the tag team titles. So really kind of made your baby faces, who have been your top babyface tag team for the better part of a year, look kind of foolish. And now there's not as much emphasis on them winning the title. So if they win it now, it'll seem like too little too late.
Yeah. And then our main event segment tonight, which was Cesaro and Daniel Bryan out in the ring saying, will Reigns answer the challenge? And this ended up with setting up Bryan versus Reigns next week on SmackDown. But if Daniel Bryan loses, Roman doesn't want to see him around there anymore. I guess this is a good pivot. So, Alfred, what is up with Daniel Bryan's contract? We've been seeing these headlines saying his contract is up and he wants to wrestle for other companies.
I mean, he did do an interview where he said that he would like to wrestle for other companies while still working with WWE. Idealistically, I guess he would want to go out and be able to maybe do something with Progress, maybe even CMLL, which I know has been a dream of his for a long time. But he did sound like he wants to stay with WWE in a limited capacity in terms of wrestling while still wrestling for other companies. But his contract is up in September, and there's no guarantee that Daniel Bryan's going to be back with WWE. He's come out and said that he's not going to be a full-time wrestler, regardless of whether or not he resigns. And he also said this is going to be his last WrestleMania. So he sounds like a guy who's ready to retire from being a full-time wrestler. And who knows what's going to happen with these contract negotiations. He might end up just somewhere else doing his own thing. I know that's what he would want to do, is making his own schedule and not having to report to work all the time.
He did just, I believe it's on the site, if I'm correct, but he was talking about his contract coming up. And he said that he's 40 years old or something like that, and he wants to be at home with his kids, type of deal. So he's hinting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he's just working the marks, as it were. But
seen it done before.
Yeah, and maybe that's part of it, right? It's like, it's pro wrestling. We don't believe anything.
Yeah, I mean, that is a great point. But I will say Daniel Bryan is one of those exceptions to the rule where he's not really a Carney type of guy. He's just kind of brutally honest in terms of how he sees things. He's not much of a Carney,
So here's my vision. Daniel Bryan's working the ring toss game at a carnival, and he's like, it's $5. You're not going to win. There's a whole thing with the physics. It's impossible for the rings to go on the bottom. If you want to try, I'll take your money, but just so you know, you're not going to win the big prize. It's just not going to happen.
You should probably donate that money to wildlife, but it's your money, not mine.
Yes, there you go. Not a Carney guy. Got it. He's a guy working the rides. It says you could scream all you want. You're not going to go faster. I'm just going to sit here. I'm just going to push the button and then, let you off. And then it's going to be fun. I'm here just listening to my Fugazi tape on cassette, and you ride the rides, and then I clock out and I go I'm going to go home and compost. Travis Huffman, $5, saying Black will feud with Riddle after a brand shakeup, turn Riddle's scooter into a dragon, and will blow fire on the birds that fly out of Riddle's ass.
Wow.
Well, that's better than anything WWE is going to give us.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds that just that description alone. I mean, I would love to write about something like that.
Bid Moon, $1.99, saying acknowledge our tribal chief. Great post show. I think with Roman, man, Roman's character is so on fire and so good. But I mean, thank God Issa's not here because she, somehow slap me from 3,000 miles away.
Sure, she's
But
listening.
I'm telling you, man, like Roman's character is great, but these storylines are not. Like, we've got a great character and a great, just all-around entertainer, one of the true superstars in professional wrestling, and they just put him in these storylines where I feel like there's nothing there, man. You know?
Well, like you guys were talking about on a podcast the last week or the week before, whatever. Yeah. It's like, what do you do with him? You don't have Brock Lesnar. You know, it's like, what do you throw at him?
Yeah,
for somebody with.
Especially how much they're building him up. I mean, they don't do that for anybody, is to have that double pin and just, he does a great job being built as a credible world champion. But no, I agree. The storylines have been underwhelming. What frustrates me is it's not that I think they've been necessarily boring. They've just not made much sense. Like, there was an original storyline, Edge versus Roman Reigns, Spear versus Spear. That final go home promo Edge cut, before WrestleMania, sounded like a promo that he wanted to cut for Roman Reigns and Roman Reigns only. I thought those were brilliant comparisons to, you used a spear, you came in a 3-man group, you're just like me. I love those things. But then they ended up kind of veering out of direction and backing into this triple threat match, which ended up being a good match. But the story they told was very bad, and that they had to turn Edge heel halfway. So this story that they're telling right now to me is not very good in terms of Daniel Bryan playing Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 9. Like, at 1 minute, he's vouching for Cesaro, brother. Oh, yeah, this is a guy who needs a shot. By the end of the show, they challenge him. It doesn't even take him 10 seconds. Yeah, I accept. It's like, wait a minute. What about your guy that you've been building up this whole show that you've been talking on behalf of?
And then Cesaro going, take it, man, take it.
Right?
Cesaro, you want
Cesaro take that title shot now? Exactly.
Well, but if that wasn't the acknowledged stipulation, that is what's going to happen, though. I mean, I believe that's the stakes, though, is that if Daniel wins, Cesaro gets the shot at WrestleMania Backlash. That's what I thought. Anyhow,
that might be it. I'm going to need it because maybe I'm not clear on how they set up that stipulation. But yeah, I guess they're having a match next week. I don't know if it's for the title or maybe it is for Cesaro's behalf. That would make a lot more sense than them just having Daniel Bryan cut the line.
Yeah,
he's having a title match next week, from what I recall.
Oh, so maybe okay. So yeah, maybe
basically his last chance, and if he loses, then Roman said, "Get the heck out of SmackDown," pretty much.
No, Michael saying that wasn't mentioned, so there you go. But I still think it could be Cesaro versus Roman. So just Opus 499 saying the way Daniel Bryan was shadowing Cesaro tonight, I thought they were going to keep Daniel Bryan around to be Cesaro's mouthpiece for his feud with Roman. That was kind of weird too. Like, here, Cesaro, let Daniel Bryan talk for you.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, that's what Cesaro unfortunately cannot. I don't think he's capable of cutting the type of promo you need to cut in order to be like a top perennial star. And really, Daniel Bryan cut like a good promo on behalf of Cesaro. That was better than I think Cesaro could have done in terms of saying that Roman Reigns is only getting this opportunity because of his family and this, that, and the other about Cesaro. So Cesaro needed somebody to really cut that impassioned promo on his behalf. And Daniel Bryan was playing that role until he accepted the title shot he was vouching for.
Hear me out on this. You're talking about Cesaro's lack of ability to cut a promo, and I think that's been speculated that that's why WWE doesn't believe in him or give him the shot, right? Because they think the accent, the way he talks. I actually would say that it's a little bit of like a reverse positive, or it's a positive that's hurting him. If Cesaro comes out there and says, "I'm the best wrestler in the world," I don't even think he needs to prove it. I think he has proved it. I think there's a good argument for that. Like, Cesaro says, "Yeah, you are certainly the best wrestler in this company." You know what I mean? Like, I feel like maybe Cesaro doesn't have any stakes or anything to prove. They would really need to do a heavy babyface angle where it's like, I'm the best wrestler. Everyone acknowledged me. I'm the best wrestler, but I'm still the good hand, the guy that never gets that title shot. You could do a good storyline there, but they've never given him the chance to build that.
Sure. Yeah, he does. They do a lot of start and stop with Cesaro, and I thought he had a great golden opportunity when he won that Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I thought people behind him, I thought that wasn't something they should have overthought. And he's the type of guy who's good enough in the ring and entertaining in terms of him doing that swing and stuff like that, that he doesn't need too much of a great promo. It's just that he doesn't get that chance to cut those promos, and when he has, I don't think he's lit the world on fire.
Yeah. Alonzo pointing out Vince will never make Cesaro a world champion. That's a shame. He's great. He should have been a world champ like 3 times by now. I mean, he's just fantastic.
I agree with him.
Dean Regan, Buck 99, saying Rollins should return face and went for Roman. I I think that's their emergency plan, right? That's their backup, is to do that maybe for SummerSlam or sometime later in the year. But can Rollins come back to face easily right now?
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, when I saw that say that, Rollins needs to turn babyface, it would take a lot of work for this is not something that should really happen overnight, because he's really dug his heels in being this character and this just, really heel character that it's going to take a lot of explaining to explain why he's going to go back to being a babyface.
Well, he went away for a little while, and then when he came back, we thought, it just
that was their chance. Yeah. That was their chance. Although I'm a fan and they don't do this, I think Gilligan's Island style, just a coconut on the head, and you get amnesia and a personality change.
Just retcon the storyline. I think Becky Lynch could turn him face if she comes back.
Yeah. Yeah. Although, we'll see. We'll see. But hey, SmackDown tonight, believe it or not the biggest WWE story this week. Perhaps as part of their cross-promotional efforts with Hefty trash bags, WWE had the top social media story in all of wrestling. Like, how weird is that timing, by the way? That there's that commercial with Sasha and Drew promoting the trash bag, and then Mickie James gets her stuff sent back. I believe that was a Hefty bag. Probably they have a bunch of them backstage. Yeah, so Mickie James posted a tweet thanking Vince McMahon for her care package now that she left the company. It was a Hefty bag with all her gear. And Mark Carrano got fired over this, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot of good things that are being said about him. To me, it seems like a little bit of a scapegoat situation. I don't know how fair it is to just blame Mark Carrano as the reason that all these people receive their stuff in trash bags. I mean, there were accounts from 10 years ago when he wasn't around that this same thing happened. But around the time that WWE is now going through a corporate shakeup, a lot of people are getting fired and removed and replaced in corporate because they have a new administration. So it seems very convenient of WWE to say, oh, yeah, we got to get rid of that bad man, Mark Carrano, who's behind all this. So he's really taken a lot of the heat. But I have a hard time believing that this was just him acting on his own. And this isn't just something WWE typically does. Not necessarily to be cold-hearted, but because they're a corporation and maybe this is just how they feel is the most efficient way to send their clothes back without paying too much money.
By the way, not to defend WWE, but in the process I'm moving, I've been road tripping. I've put a lot of stuff in trash bags that's not trash because I just need to quickly get something in bulk from one place to another. I mean, a trash bag, it smells nice. They're nicely scented now. They're sturdy. They hold things. But I guess symbolically, yes, this is a huge slap in the face to Mickie James, who I think is one of the most underrated performers the WWE has ever had. They did nothing with her these last few years. And turns out they've done this a lot. And they do not know how to gracefully part ways with anyone, it seems like.
Where do we see Mickie James now? What do you think?
I mean, that's a good question. I think going to Impact would be, or NWA, right? I mean,
yeah,
either of those. It'd be nice if AEW did something with her, but I think that, from what I understand, AEW is finally getting some cohesion in the women's division. I don't know that she would get a chance to really be spotlighted or shine there.
Yeah, I mean, there would be some potentially great matches. Mickie James and Britt Baker, Mickie James and Hikaru Shida. Yeah. There's a lot of great athletes that are now starting to come into their own. Ty Conti even. But, I think maybe Impact or NWA should be a really big fish in a smaller pond, but it would be a lot better for her creatively, I think.
Yeah. AEW is pretty full, too. They got
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's almost more disrespectful that they put her name on the garbage can. If they just gave her the garbage bags, that's one thing. But the fact that they just put Mickie on tape, I think kind of made it worse in terms of the visual.
If this was a year ago, I could see WWE Shop putting up WWE branded trash bags.
I still might.
Yeah, I mean, because right? They leaned into memes quite a bit.
Yeah.
No, but it's what's disrespectful to me, this is the cherry on top of disrespect. I mean, for me, the disrespect is WWE is at a record time profits. And they're not only did they not use this talent for such a long time, but then they're cutting them in such a merciless way, with no grace whatsoever. This is just of course they sent it in a trash bag. It's just terrible treatment after terrible treatment after terrible treatment,
I don't get that.
Yeah.
Can't handle the whole 90-day It's they didn't. Mickie James didn't get fired because she did something wrong or whatever. It's she needs to work. They need to work. I hate that whole 90-day thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very symbolic of just the wrestler life. What's kind of jarring about it, it's kind of triggering watching that because it's just kind of symbolic of how a wrestler goes through their career of getting eaten up and spit out. Is just like, okay, we're done with you now. Here's your stuff. That kind of happens to a lot of wrestlers' career when you see toward the end of their life, they're asking for GoFundMes and stuff like that. So to see that, it almost seems like WWE is subscribing to that mentality that we're done with this person. Let's spit them out, and they're left to their own devices.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. I mean, I know you can't keep people employed forever, but just shocking to me, like the way that they're cutting talent. I guess the upside is, hey, give them a chance to go and do their own thing elsewhere, right? Like they're not hampered or stuck with WWE if they have other opportunities. But yeah, just kind of lame. Man Cave Sessions, $5, saying WWE has the resources to make sure the wrestlers have a great send-off. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, but they are really lazy here.
Let me tell you, I'll tell you one thing. The next person who gets fired from WWE, I guarantee you, they're going to get their stuff, some nice Gucci bags or whatever. And I want to see those tweets because, the next round of cuts they make, they're going to be sending their stuff top shelf, first class, so that and kind of a social media type thing. You know what? Maybe they'll even give them a replica championship belt with
custom side plates.
Yeah. So just trust me, the care packages are coming.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's crazy times. WWE
delivered in person by Original.
Oh yeah.
Great. The backflips and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Let's wrap it up for tonight. And again, we send our best to Issa, who's out. Look on her Twitter. She's talking about what's going on with her. It sounds like she's going to be okay, but I look forward to having her back in the podcast. Jackson, where can people find you on the interwebs?
You can find me at Jax Callans on Twitter. JAXEFS Elephant
Yes.
Sam on Instagram and TikTok.
Awesome. We'll definitely have you back on the podcast. Great to have you here. You've been such a staple of our chat room for such a long time. It was great to meet you last week and great to have you with us on the podcast tonight. Alfred at This Is Nasty. What stories you working on? Let's tease some stuff here, Alfred. What do you got? What do you got in the pipeline?
I got something up about the Mark Carrano firing, so you can check that out. And then I'll be covering Raw and SmackDown and whatnot. And I might have something up for Rebellion this Sunday. Still trying to make way for that schedule because I'm very excited for that Kenny Omega Rich Swann match. So I might have something up for Rebellion this Sunday, Impact Rebellion.
There you have it. I'm Glenn Rubenstein. You can find me on Twitter at Glenn Rubenstein. I'll be back here on Tuesday with Alfred and possibly Issa. Wait to see how she's feeling. But of course, tune back in for Monday Night Raw coverage, and you know the rest. Until next time, folks, have a great weekend. We'll catch you back here on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.